So it would be general thing, and I want to look for verbs. What I want to cover today is we're going to dive in to look at strategies for free response. And I talked about this a bit, but I want to just hit it once now, and then we will work it for every free response question from now on. My plan is this. I think content will rely on the AP Chemistry Review videos for content review. And then there's that AP PowerPoint reviews that I know there's some issues with that where the I'll look into that and clear up the ones where they're blocking the notes on that. But so that I think we'll rely on that for content review. And then if you have any questions with anything from there, just talk to me and we'll work on that one-on-one. Or if you think it's a general question that everybody should know about, I'll copy everybody on it, or we can talk about it in this Zoom thing here. What I would like to do starting Monday for sure is we'll open up and we will give you a free response question to do. And so we'll do a free response question. You'll all come up with the answer. It'll either be 9 or 21 minutes, depending on if it's a short or a long free response question. And now that we've done everything, I'm just going to grab, it'll be about the topic, but it may go beyond, because especially the long ones cover multiple topics. But at this point, we should be able to handle all of them anyway. So we'll do that, and then we'll spend the rest of the time looking at your answers, determining if your answers are acceptable or not, and where it went wrong for you if not, so that we can really start honing in. And I think by the end of the review that we do, relying on the content from AP Chemistry Review plus what you've learned already, if we can just make sure you'll know what you're answering, and if we can just make sure you answer it in the way that gets you the points, then you'll do very well. I watched the first 3 days, and I'm feeling confident that what I taught and the level I taught is good. So I'm feeling more confident. And then I'm always relying and remembering how well you guys did on that midterm, which was given using all the AP Chemistry questions, and that was without a review. So I'm very confident. I hope you guys are confident. And so let's just work to make sure that you can maximize, hey, Gabs, maximize your what you know, so that you don't make slight mistakes, dumb mistakes, or just don't get credit because you didn't write it the right way. The main strategy then will be as follows. I'll share my screen for you in just a moment, and I'll have to type it out so you can't see my bad writing, sorry. So I'm going to share screen now. I could do whiteboard and write it out. No, I will type it. All right, here we go. Just chat I'll let you guys chat to each other. Normally this has been disabled for regular people to keep people, but okay, I'm sharing screen. I'll do that in a minute. All right, so we have two strategies. CCA, let me make this bigger. CCA stands for compare, contrast, answer. And then CLR, or some people say clever, 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 which is claim, evidence, reason. Now, if you follow these, one or the other format, these are formats to structure every free response question where you have to write the answers. If you do this in one or the other, I think some people say you can just choose one and run with it every time. I think that there will be some where one would be a better avenue or a better structure than another. I'll explain them both, and then just you can run with the one you're comfortable with as you see fit. So let's look at CCA. And the typical example, and I'm sure I've done this with you guys, would be there's a sample with a high melting point and it dissolves in water. And when it does that, it conducts electricity. What type of compound is this? Now, this one lends itself to you can do either, but let's answer this with the CCA, because that one, when you see this, what type of compound it is, what I'm looking at here is there are several potential answers. And we know that this could then be covalent, it could be ionic, or metallic compound, right? Or a combination. It could be both covalent and ionic, right? So when there are several potential answers, I like the CCA method or structure, because you'll see why. So let's do CCA. First part of C is compare. So we're going to say the structure has a high melting point and dissolves in water, right? Ionic compounds also have high melting points and dissolve in water, etc. Right? There's compare. I've compared my unknown with what I say is the right answer. Contrast. Now here's where people don't get points, because they'll say, oh, this is obviously ionic. So look, it's got a high melting point and it dissolves in water, so it's ionic. Move on. And you don't get the points. Why? Because you did not go in and prove that it's not covalent, and you did not prove that it's not metallic. That's what the contrast section is for. Contrast. In contrast, or on the other hand, or whatever you want to say, in contrast, a covalent compound usually does not dissolve in water. And does not conduct electricity when it does. And covalent compounds have low melting points, lower melting points. Okay, so this is not covalent. Metallic compounds do not dissolve in water. So this is not metallic. And then answer CCA, therefore, this is an ionic compound. So that would be a free response answer for you. And that would get you full points. Any questions on that by anybody? And it's the completeness that is good here. So I would say, go ahead.
Can you email that what you just like wrote out?
Yes.
So I can have that as an example.
Yes. Yes. Did I write down the answer? No. Let me write down the answer. Oh, here it is.
Set that hard.
The question. I will bold the question and put it in quotes so that, boom. Now, let's do the claim evidence reasoning for this. CLR, so the claim would be, I believe this compound, or you can just say this is an ionic compound. The compound is ionic. Boom, there's your claim. Evidence, you can, one sentence or new sentence doesn't matter, or new paragraph doesn't matter. Evidence, ionic compounds, this compound has a high melting point and dissolves in water to conduct electricity. Now, the other evidence we want to bring in here is all of the other compounds' properties. So, ionic compounds have high melting points and dissolve to conduct electricity. That's evidence one, but we need to do full evidence. We got to say covalent. I'll just copy and paste. Covalent compounds.
So we can see. Slide it up so we can see.
Oh, okay, I get just saying covalent compounds do that. So here's the rest of the evidence. I'll just copy and paste like this. Covalent compounds usually don't dissolve in water. And I said usually because sugar dissolves in water and it's covalent, but sugar water I don't think conducts electricity. The only reason we conduct electricity is because the tap water conducts electricity, right? The sugar itself doesn't break up into ions. So if you had distilled water, pure water, and dissolve sugar in it, it would not conduct electricity. So covalent compounds do not conduct electricity, even if they do dissolve. And then you can talk about lower melting points. So this is not covalent. So anyway, so actually in this point, you wouldn't make a conclusion. You just say, here's the properties of covalent compounds. Metallic compounds do not dissolve in water. Boom. So there's the evidence. My evidence is this compound, and I put down the 3 things that are potentially it. And then the reasoning is, since this compound's properties match ionic compounds, match that of ionic compounds, but are different from covalent, I would do this. I would be, this is where I'm not a reader, so I don't know the details. I think the fact that you put all this information in here and just say that it doesn't match, I'm sure that's enough, but I would be safe, better safe than sorry, but are different from covalent, parentheses, covalent doesn't conduct electricity. Like here's a good example. Right? So you've called it out specifically rather than relying on them to read and make the reasoning for you. I think this is the best way to go with this instance, be specific. But are different from covalent and metallic, which do not dissolve in water. This compound is ionic, is an ionic compound. Okay, so that's the 2 methods explained. I think I would always default to CCA when you're choosing between a few potential answers, right? Because this structure just lends itself to not forgetting to include the ones that you're excluding, if you follow. Are we good? I'm open for questions there. Okay. Since this compounds, okay. So from now on, for everything we do, I want it to be in one of these. Every free response from now on, whenever required, choose one of these. You should choose the appropriate one and structure your answer accordingly. Okay. Now, here I actually was teaching, and it came in up today, so it's perfect timing. I have one more review for you guys, and I'll pop up my PowerPoint for this. I did this with Pre-AP today, and I mentioned how when some of you were reading the questions, you're saying, wow, I couldn't even get, it's taken so long, because there's such a lot that you had to read, and that it was taking more than 90 seconds. And then when I went through and kind of showed you how I solved the library, like, oh, so, because my strategy, which is this. You guys hopefully see the how to do chemistry math here. Is
Nope.
that what you're seeing? PowerPoint?
No.
Uh-oh. Let me unshare and reshare. So boom, and now I will reshare PowerPoint. Okay, is this. So this is, I think, let me make it big. Slideshow, current slide. Where's current slide? No, rehearse, review, view. No, where's presentation? Current slide there, sorry. All right, so here is how I would do every problem that requires math. And it's these 5 steps over and over and over and over again. It's how I do it. And let's say we have a very long, paragraph long problem. And we have 90 seconds, right? So there's lots of words. And the thing is that they will include extra stuff in AP Chemistry problems that you don't need, so people don't just know to grab this number and that number to get the answer, right? So there will be extra things you don't need. There'll be things that you need to just ignore. And this process lets you ignore and only read what you need to read. It lets you take charge of the problem instead of the problem coming at you. So first thing I do whenever I hit any chemistry problem, when I say read the problem, I'm skimming. I'm looking, trying to figure out what formula do I need. Because as soon as I figure out what formula I need, I know I'm going to get it right? And you guys are the same. Your math is great. As soon as you know what formula to use, you're going to get this right. The other steps in this are just to make sure you don't make a dumb mistake, right? So I'm reading to figure out what formula is required. So in this example, I'll do later, I'll do an example for you. So I'll read the problem, and then as soon as I know what formula I'm going to use, I write that formula down fresh. I don't care if I just did that problem and the formula is written right above me, right there, and I can see it. I write it down fresh every single time, because what I have caught myself doing is if I don't write it fresh, I start solving it in my head, and then by the time my pencil gets down to the paper, I may have made a mistake in my head because it's vague and it's amorphous in my head, and there's a potential dumb mistake in my head. By writing the formula fresh, now it's on paper, then I do the work on paper, and it just seems to eliminate dumb mistakes just by doing that one step. So that was the best thing I've done on a individual problem solving to get rid of dumb mistakes, that and canceling units. Canceling units is the best thing. Okay, so I read that now. I've written down the problem fresh, and I write down M equals N over L, right? Molarity equals moles over liters. Even though I'm solving for moles, I write the problem as it's or the formula as it's given. Step 2 is I rearrange the formula, because for a little while I was being very clever in my head, and I was rearranging the formula in my head, and I would write the rearranged formula, well, N is equal to L over M, or whatever. And right away, you know, in your head, you can make a stupid mistake there. Write the formula fresh, and then rearrange the formula, and you don't rearrange it wrong. So please, yeah, so this is now, I would go back and I'd say, okay, what's my unknown? Here's my formula, what am I solving for? Now I rearrange the formula to solve for my unknown. And the nice thing is, as soon as I have my unknown on one side, everything else is on the other side, well, everything else has to be given to me in the problem, or else it's unsolvable, right? So now I'm in charge. Now I just go variable by variable. Oh, wait, okay, I didn't put this in here. Okay, I'm gonna go variable by variable. I'll make this a little clearer, and I'll send it to you guys. And I'll say, okay, M equals N over L. Let's say I'm solving for molarity. I'm gonna go look for moles now. So I'm not reading the problem. I'm going back to the problem, but I'm not reading for understanding. I'm not reading for anything other than, hey, I need moles. What's my moles of solute? So all of the other stuff that they've thrown at you, all that other reading, I don't care. Skip, skip, skip. Here's the moles of solute. Now I'm putting the moles of solute right here in the formula. Okay, what else do I need? Liters of solution. Okay, all that other stuff, I'm reading the problem. Now I'm going back and I'm just looking for the liters of solution. Now, AP chemistry, remember it's liters of solution, not liters of solvent. That is one they try to trick people on. So they may tell you how much solvent it is separately. You know, that would be an extra number out there. But I don't care about that number because I know I'm looking for liters of solution. I'm going until I find liters of solution, and I put that number to the formula. So do you see how I'm not reading like it's literature? I'm reading to destroy the problem, to take charge of the problem, to own the problem, to make the problem do what I want. And I only grab the little bits of the problem that I need at that moment to get me to the next step. So this is how to do it. Now that I've done that, I'm going to cancel my units. Now I have here, check units to ensure they match the formula, right? So here is where, as I'm doing this, I'm looking for moles. And I look and I don't see moles, I see grams though. Right away I say, okay, I'm gonna have to convert grams to moles. But
it's not working.
What's not working? Uh-oh, can you see? Can you see in here?
Are we supposed to see questions or problems?
Are you seeing a PowerPoint?
I'm seeing a PowerPoint.
Yes, that's this process
Yes.
I'm walking through right here. Okay, that's fine. I'm not actually doing a problem yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, but yeah, hey guys, let me know because I don't know what you guys are seeing. So yeah, I'm happy to stop. So in this instant, I'm here at this point. I'm going to check the units of the problem to make sure that they're in the unit that the formula requires. And where people make mistakes is they say, oh, liters of solution, they see milliliters, they know that measures volume, so they throw milliliters in. This is where you need to stay, oh, I need to convert milliliters to liters, right? But then I have this step here. This step 4 is, I would say, the most important step because we're all smart enough, I think, to get through here. But actually taking this moment to cancel out your units. So if you have liters on the top and liters on the bottom, cancel your liters, which only leaves moles, right? So here is where I'll cancel the liters and see what units are left uncanceled. Gabby is doing her Serenity Now moment. And I will check to see what units.
My laptop died.
Okay.
I missed the last 3 minutes.
I was listening to your chakra going, it sounded like that to me anyway. So here's where I'll cancel the units and I'll say, okay, so if I cancel the units, the only units left are, let's say we're solving for molarity. My uncanceled units are moles divided by liters. I'll say, okay, well, that's the definition of molarity and I'm solving for molarity. So I've set this up right? So now it's just a matter of doing the right math, you know, and that means everything is in the right place. So you just have to multiply and divide in the calculator and solve. And this process here, if you do that every time, it eliminates confusion, it eliminates dumb mistakes, and it just sets you up for success. And, you know, as I wrote this down, I realized this is my process that you start off rough and you just get all the sharp edges beaten off you. Problem after problem after problem and test grade after test grade after test grade. So this is a lot of chunks taken off of me, but this is the smooth process that is the result of all of that grinding. So it's actually, I'm very pleased with this as a process to train you on. Any questions? Okay. Here is an example of this process in order. Here's the tricks again. Molarity is moles divided by liters. That's where all get casual saying that. Molarity is moles per liters. Test makers take advantage of that because a lot of times people know there's solutes and solvents. And so they will put the option of moles of solute divided by liters of solvent, not liters of solution, which is the right answer. They put that out there as a potential wrong answer. Just be aware of it. But now that they're not doing multiple choice, I don't know that that'll be likely to be a question. However, well, this isn't a trick. This just make sure you have the right units. And again, our process will handle that. But here's an example. So it would be a simple math thing here. If you've got 37 grams of calcium chloride and dissolve it to make a 5-liter solution, then what is the molarity of that solution? So it's a very simple problem, but I want to show you how my 5-step thing can be quickly applied and prevent dumb mistakes. And so first of all, we know that there are 2 formulas. The first thing I want to do is figure out what formula I'm looking to do, right? And anytime I see the word molarity, oops, I should not have done that. Anytime I see the word molarity, we're down to 2 formulas. It's either M equals N over L or M1V1 equals M2V2, right? Now, the keywords to say we're going to use M equals N over L are as if I see the word grams or moles. Every time if it says grams or moles, we're going to do M equals N over L because this is the formula that has moles in it. For M1V1 equals M2V2, if I see 2 molarities or 2 different volumes, then that's the sign that you're dealing with it before or after. If you see the word new, what is the new molarity? What is the new volume? That would be a sign for M1V1 equals M2V2. But anytime I see molarity, I know it's one of those 2. Then I look and I see grams, so I know it's M equals N over L. So I write down M equals N over L. So notice at this moment, I have not yet read the problem. I paid 0 attention to the numbers, and I don't know what the unknown is. But I did write down M equals N over L, and I'm confident I'm going to get this problem right now. So next I read just to figure out what my unknown is. It says, okay, what is the molarity of the solution? So M is my unknown. It turns out we don't need to rearrange it. We have M already isolated, so we're fine. But here is where I would, if we're solving for L, I would now manipulate this formula. After writing it down, I would now manipulate the formula to solve for the unknown. Okay, so now what's wonderful is I'm now going to go into the problem in more detail and pay attention to numbers, but it's only the numbers I need and I'm looking for at that moment. So I need moles. I'm going to replace N with moles. Well, they don't give me moles, they give me grams. Okay, but this I can convert to moles, so I'll do that now. 37 grams, here's the molar mass, 0.34 moles. So now I'm going to plug 0.34 moles into N. Now I'm going into the problem. And again, you notice I haven't read this whole problem yet in full yet. I don't ever really. Now I'm going to go in here. I need liters for liters of solution. I remember in the back of my head, liters of solution, not liters of solvent. So as I go through here and I'm making a 0.5 liter solution, aha, that's the right unit. So I'll just write 0.5 liters here. If I saw 0.5 liters of solvent, then I would say that's not what I'm looking for. I'm after the solution. So that's the only way they can get you. But now I've done it. And now I take a look. Moles per liter. Well, I know moles per liter is molarity. So I know that this is right. And I've got everything right. So now I'll do the math. So do you see how there could have been 5 more numbers? There could have been liters of solvent. There could have been talking about how the details of the chemistry that happens as calcium chloride does this and that. And boy, calcium chloride, all that other stuff that they're going to throw in there. Hey, it's blue. Oh, that's wonderful. I don't know if it's blue or not. I don't care. All of that stuff is irrelevant. And I didn't even pay attention to it. It could be there. I don't know. I mean, I'll never know because I've already moved on to the next problem, right? This is how you take charge of a problem and own it and make it do what you want. You find what you want from that problem and you take what you want from that problem, and all that extra stuff that you don't want, well, leave it for the next person. Any questions? Because this, I think, worked well. I think today was a great day. What do you think? I'm going to quit sharing and start listening. Chat is open. Microphones are open. Go ahead, caller. I'm listening. Raise your crane. Uh-oh, you guys on, you might be muted if you're trying to talk.
Oh, we unmuted.
Okay.
I'm good.
Good,
I'm good.
good, good. See, this makes me feel like such a good teacher. And I know it's really that you guys are good students, but I'm going to take the credit. Thank you.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
So, like, you don't think they would take off points if you write too much for the free response
Yeah, it
stuff?
happens. It happens. It happens. They talk about this every training I go to. They say the people who are readers and are trained at reading, they say, boy, I'm given a point, and then they kept writing, and they said something wrong, and they lost the point. You know, so that's why that structure is the way to go. It gets you to not do too much. Plus, you're not wasting time. But yeah, that structure is your friend two ways. So yes, they do say every training I've gone to, they've said that they have examples where they've seen that happen, where someone wrote too much and talked themselves into trouble and lost points. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have more, and I don't want to waste your time. So I'm not sure what time it is now, but I will end the meeting unless you have questions. And be aware, as I've said, if I'm after 5 or 6, I'm actually still been working, but I'll be playing video games if not. So I'll be at my computer. Email me, and all you're doing is I'm just stopping a video game. So I'm not doing anything important. And I'm happy to stop and change. And I had a pre-AP kid where I did a Zoom tutoring from 6 to 6:30 a couple days ago. You know, what else am I going to do? You know, I'm just staying at home drinking coffee and playing video games when it's off hours. You guys, seriously, my success, your success is my success. So anything I can do to help you, just don't hesitate. I really am. And I'll be up till 11, you know, so don't hesitate ever because of time. That's all I got. We good? That applies to all of you, including the people that didn't show up today. So let them know if needed. So what I'll do, everybody, let's say everybody download the lockdown browser. I will get on Monday, we'll take that test. I will, and then I've already emailed the trainer for my summer training, getting their advice on free response thing. And they came back to me with the CCA and CLR that I taught today, but also some verbs. So I'm going to get some verbs to you guys about, look for these verbs to guide your response to the free response questions. I'm sure it's already written. So I'll have that to you over the weekend. And yeah, then we'll hit it hard starting Monday. So thank you.
Okay, so when is the quiz on AP College Board due?
Anytime over the weekend.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute quiz. Hold yourself to that once you start it, because you should be able to do it now. There are no excuses, right? 15 minutes, do it solid. I'll take points off if you go over 15.
Do I still get my 25 seconds back?
You can have 30. All right. Okay. So yeah, take the quiz, have it done by the weekend. I'll have it graded, entered by the weekend. And then we'll take the sample diagnostic test on Monday. I will give you lots of good grades for just doing that because it's a lot of work, I recognize. So most of which will be participation, but any grade over a 70 will get you hundreds plus, you know, maybe a couple of 80s. If you get an 80, I'll throw a couple of 80s in there. If you get a 9, anyway, it'll be at least 80 for taking it. And then if you do better, the better you do, I'll give you the opportunity to get better grades. So all is well there. I'm excited. I'm actually very optimistic. You guys are great. I was telling my wife, I said, boy, this year's going to be so good. I go, I'm worried though, it's going to set false expectations for next year. I said, I don't think they're going to do as well next year. These guys are so good. Don't tell next year I said that, by the way. But I'm very optimistic, and I hope you guys are too. So I'll do whatever I can to help you. Let me know. And I think one thing that people haven't thought of yet is the calculators. If you need a calculator, I can tell them to make one of those good TI calculators available for you to pick up at the school. Or if you can't pick it up, I'll drive by, pick it up, and drop it off at your house. Okay? So let me know if you need one of those fancy calculators. All right, that's all I got. I'm just starting to ramble. You guys have a good day. Have a great weekend.
You
And
too.
I will see you Monday.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Please hang up and try again.